I don't know about you, but I always had this burning desire to be myself. And this is what led me into so many journeys and so many travels, actually, into the journey of immigration, into multiple journeys of like following different careers and searching myself everywhere in countries and relationship and careers or hobbies everywhere. I tried so many things, but no matter what I tried, I couldn't really connect to this profound feeling of who I really am. And somehow it was really important to me. And at that time, when this journey started for me, I actually didn't realize that it is something very spiritual. For me, it was mostly, and I also don't know how it is for you, but for me, knowing and having this sense of self, it's actually pretty simple things like understanding your style, understanding your lifestyle, how you want to live, how you want to communicate, what career you can follow, what unique talents you have, and like all of that. So for me, this knowing of oneself, it's mostly something very like simple and actionable. Even though I know that for many people, knowing your authentic self, it's something like very spiritual, but I like very practical approaches, and anything that I do in life, it has a very practical approach. So this journey for me started when I was 19, when I lived in a different country, not in America, and I was really, really lost in life, and I had all this like bad habits, and there was a lot of like bad influences on my life, and I started experimenting. And all these experiments, they led me into immigration. And that's how I ended up in America. I'm doing 12 years now, almost 12 years now, living here. But even though I tried so many things, in the end, I would always like hit the wall, and I would be eventually like losing the sense of that I am on the right direction in life. And for me, being your authentic self and living your purpose, it's actually also having this ultimate feeling of direction in life. As I said, it's not just like the feeling. You can then later use it for like all these like practical things in life, but the feeling was also really important to me. So I studied somatics and I delved into so many modalities in psychology and spirituality, even in art, like in so many different realms of the life. With only like one reason. I wanted to understand who I really am. But upon studying somatics and understanding the importance of living your life through the body, it just like hit me. Why am I always trying to find myself through my head, through the theories, through the like theory pretty much? Because being your authentic self is not something that can be experienced in your mind and in the theory. You need to live it actually with your body. And that's how this journey started. Um, it was a process of moving, simple process of moving from one apartment to another apartment, but then suddenly it was a mutual decision of me and my partner to live in Hawaii for a few months. And I finally would get this experience of a lifetime that I always wanted. But what I decided to do, since I knew that it's like so temporary and I love Hawaii, I've been here so many times now. I was like, there's no way I'm going to be wasting my time on the things that I should do and must do, but I don't want to because this is temporary and I must live and experience every little second of this island, of this lifestyle. And that's how it started. for me, it was an experiment. I decided to have an experiment. What would I do? How would I live if I just let go of control and let go of all the understanding in the rational, like, in my rational mind of who I am, what I should do, and how I should do it, actually, most importantly, because coming clear and just telling this to the whole wide world, I always wanted and I always dreamed to be a writer. But with so many doctors call it diagnosis, I call it just personal traits. I have a trouble sitting still. I like have my own schedule and all the ways of how I do things. So what would you imagine if I say a writer? You imagine a person who sits by their desk in a small like house, maybe somewhere in the forest. I love filming the nature because then I get to all the ducks around in the water. It's amazing. You see, that's what I'm talking about. I get distracted fast and I am just me. If you were to talk to me in person, you would understand. So I know how is it to be a writer. And I tried to force myself. I was like, a good writer must study this, this, and that. A good writer must do this, this, and that. And it's not just writing, actually. I have so many interests in my life. And as of right now, for the last 5-6 years, I work as a photographer, which actually helps me utilize this artistic talent and this creative and artistic self-expression of mine. But I wanted to pursue something like that. And for many, many years in life, I actually couldn't even finish my education because it would require a lot of very, very strict rules that I cannot follow and cannot, this is what I'm trying to talk about lately, that our bodies are different. And even though you think that you may take pills and just force yourself to be like everybody else, it's only temporary and it doesn't, let's say, it doesn't fix you. It's only a temporary remedy, but what I'm connecting to right now is the understanding that not only we are all different, there's a lifestyle that you can live and the career that you can pursue that will honor the person you are, that honor your body, and you will also follow the so-called normal path. And so I started this experiment. I was like, I know how I should do it. I know what I should do. This dream of mine is following me throughout my whole life to write a book. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be in Hawaii. It's going to inspire me, probably. Going to stay at home and write it. And I just couldn't force it. And so once I hit the wall and once I was sad and depressed that it's not coming along, I was like, an experiment. Dropping all the understanding of how things should be, what I should do, and let's just do it. And that's how this vlog actually was born. I never meant to be a blogger. I never recorded any videos, never posted on YouTube before. But I was like, if I were to become my authentic self, if I were to unleash this part in me that is in there and I feel it, I know that it's in there, I should drop all the understanding of who I am and just let it be how it goes. And so I started with just voice recordings, and it was boring, and I was just following my body, like, what is it that I want, what is it that I like, let's just pursue how things are. And that's how it was born. As I said, what I understood is that if I were to do all the things that I always did in the past, how could I achieve a different result? And I started experimenting. I started recording these vlogs, and at first it was awkward. And it's still new to me. I've never done that before. There is no purpose of what it will be, what it should be. I started with just like all the things that just come through my head. Then I felt like I was experimenting with my body. I was like, okay, it comes along so much easier when I'm in the incredible places. Let's do it. Let's try it. Then I realized that, okay, it comes along so much better. All the ideas, all the new interesting insights were when I am not just in like pretty places, but also I'm in a movement, when I'm like doing something very interesting. And then slowly, by like trying new things, and sometimes they would feel so wrong, so strange, like posting on YouTube. It was this totally new concept to me. I was like, I've never done that before. It's awkward. I don't know how to be a vlogger. I don't know what to do. I don't have a channel, by the way. So, but I was following this new experiment, and I've got so many realizations of what is it, authentic self, how you can achieve it, and what you can do to follow this intuition of yours to unleash it. And let me talk to you about it in a more like broad aspects, maybe give you some tips, maybe give you more details pretty much. And also I'm going to cool down because it's freaking hot out here. The lifestyle that I had while living on Hawaii was an experiment. I was really curious what would really happen to my life if I would just let myself be, be how I am. I had all these dreams and the imagination of how it would look like. And think about yourself. Close your eyes and imagine, if everything is possible, how would your life look like? And I mean, the scenarios, they can be different. I've had a few, but lately it was all about this one scenario where I'm a traveler, I'm an explorer, and I'm so brave, and I'm just traveling the world all by myself, no fear, open-minded, and it was just a picture in my head that I was like so obsessed with, and I was like, it's time. It's time for me to finally do it, to finally live openly and be free. And so that's how it started. But then there was a slightly like little problem. When I actually started leaving it, I encountered some problems. Suddenly, all those dreams, they were kind of like impossible to bring to life. I noticed that I'm not that brave. Like I had this image of myself inside my head, my dream image, that somehow I couldn't bring to life. I wanted to go hike alone. I've never done this in my entire life. And I would have trouble to go like in the forest all by myself. Or I would be afraid to, do all these different things. And then I realized that even though it sounds so easy, be your authentic self, it's not as easy. And that's how, not just through like theories about traumas, about somatics, about when it's just in theory, I realized how it is actually in the real life when you have dreams about being like having a specific identity of who you are, of your lifestyle, of it's just a big picture of your life and even like your body image, everything. And it just doesn't match. And no matter how hard you try, something is not right. And that's when it hit me that it's all about like wholesomeness. And so being your authentic self just means connecting to these like parts inside of you, and through working with your body, letting yourself be wholesome. I tried to live like this lifestyle, that lifestyle, but it would not be entirely me. So it is almost like your authentic self means your wholesome self. Maybe there is a period of your life where you want to travel more, or then maybe there's a period of time where you want to stay indoors more. But it's all about that you have a dream, you have a desire to do something, and then you have this capability and this openness and easiness into doing so. So for me, what I realized is that this dream image of myself, this dream identity, was almost like impossible to bring to life. But knowing how to work with the body, knowing the, this like basis and foundation of psychology, I was like, that's it. It's time to put theory into practice, not just to know what I need to do. Because think about it, I've had therapy for like 5 years. And then I lost the understanding, like, why am I even doing it? I'm like trying to heal. I'm trying to heal. What the hell does healing mean? I didn't feel like I've healed. And so the healing now for me, in my understanding, is that you are having an image, having dreams inside your head of how your life and your lifestyle and your body and everything about you and your life should, not should, but you want it to look like. And then it's easy for you to bring into life. Like you imagine yourself like you're this like big boss and you have a business. Then you're like to work in a small office and afraid to speak up, let's say, right? Like this polarities of your actual self and your dream self, which sometimes that's, from my understanding, from now that I think about it, can also be like your shadow self. Because in my dreams, before I brought this identity into life of this like brave, strong physically and emotionally woman that is capable of traveling the world alone and all the hikes and this very nomadic and brave lifestyle, I thought that of course I can do it, but not a single person around probably thought that because they never saw it. They never saw me actually doing it. And it was actually one of the parts of me, of my authentic self, that I lost to traumas. And I became a different person. That's how we became different people, not even noticing that. And I'm going a lot into theories about it, but I think it's important to understand that sometimes you think that you don't have what you want in life because, I don't know, that's what I thought. I worked in a small office, I lived in Chicago, and my salary was like the basic base, and it was just, I was an immigrant. I thought that it's all because of like this, and that, so many obstacles. But then when I had a chance to live the way how I want to, because I have the time and I have the money now, and I have like, it feels like all the obstacles are gone and all the opportunities are here. But then I realized that it is still, I find some excuses not to do it. And that's how it is. You think that your dreams cannot come true and you cannot have the lifestyle and the life that you want because of this, and that. Somebody blame it on government, kids, all the excuses you can find. But then I promise you that somehow it happens that we're actually afraid. It feels like, sometimes people say like, get out of your comfort zone, go and live your, your truth, your dreams, your authenticity. But comfort zone is not always about comfort. And it's not always about, comfort zone is not equals like wealth, money, happiness. Actually, comfort zone means just things that you know, the lifestyle you know, the, the like the the world how you know it and things that you know about yourself. But in reality, you may just get stuck in there and you don't know how else. And I always thought that being authentic self means abandoning how you are right now and just like going into living completely different life. I've tried that. And then I realized that it's not me either. So this experiment that I've had living in Hawaii for all these months, I've had a chance to actually get this identity back online. And now I realize that it's all these qualities that I can now actually use in my everyday life. And that the person that I became, like how I am, it is also me. And I think that it's really important sometimes to play. And plays is also considered as one of the most amazing like therapy tools, and where you get to explore yourself in a different sense, like a different aspect of yourself. And it doesn't have to be as profound, it doesn't have to last like a few months, let's say. But there's something like all this lost part of your authentic self, of your wholesomeness, that you should really get back into your life. And following it can start as a play, just the way how I did it. And it was an experiment. This is actually how this whole vlog was born. I told myself, and it was actually, even though I said that it was difficult and impossible, actually I found strength to follow through. And this is why you're watching it right now. This is why it's all happening, because I was so determined now to actually bring it back online. This lost part of myself that I didn't even know I have, but I always dreamed about it. But it took an effort to achieve it. So first of all, I followed my intuition. As you see, and as I shared, this is the last episode, but it's going to be an intro, because now finally I understood what it was all about. I had no idea, like when it just started, I had no idea. I didn't even have an intention to film anything. One of my like long lost dream was to be a writer. And I was always connected to this like world of literature. And even though when I was a child, I still remember how I was always telling my mom that every time that I write, I would tell her like, "Mom, look at me! I wrote a book again! I wrote a book again! I'm a writer, Mom! I'm a writer!" And your inner child is still like, it's still inside, and all those dreams that you once had as a child is still inside you. And I write like posts, but I abandoned that dream because, all the traumas about like, and all the upbringing, how we are taught, like it's not gonna help you economically, it's not very good career and stuff. Like this is how we are slowly like abandoning the parts of ourselves in the very practical aspect. Not just I lost my authentic self and now I'm searching for the light. That's how spiritual people are showing it to us most of the time. That's what I heard. That's what I saw. That's what I experienced. How I would try to go through um, authenticity training or something, and it would be all about connecting to light, connecting to your body through the light. And I didn't understand how can I put it to practice, how can I use it in my life, because connecting to light doesn't do much to me personally. So the experiment was so I have this idea right now that is also coming as an experiment as well, to record like maybe a small challenge, maybe like 5 or 7 day challenge to help people to experiment. You don't have to spend 3 months or like 5 months like me to go deeper into like going through unless you want to, but it's not necessary. So there I will like guide you through day by day the things you need to do to connect to that feeling, but also how to put it to practice, like actionable steps into reconnecting with this lost sense of self and with the authentic self and all those authentic self parts in you, I would say. And what I wanted to say is that one of the parts of myself, actually, as you see now, there were quite a few. I wanted to connect to that part of myself, the traveler, the explorer, the brave one. There was also another dream of mine was to become a writer, which I never pursued. Never. It was just a hobby. Sometimes I do it, but working with a mentor and a coach, and last year or two, I was connected to that dream one more time, and it takes effort. It takes time to, especially when there's a lot of trauma, especially when there is a lot of like, especially when you develop a different identity that is based on like survival, based on the not self. It will take time, just how it took time for me, a lot of time. But it can be fun as well. Now that I know how it works, I think that it can be also fun. Not just like crying at the therapy sessions for 5 years straight, just 5 years, 5 years period of time, and not like that. It still gives you the healing, but I don't think it has the practical approach of actually getting what you want. There's the healing part, and there should be a transition at some point into, let's say, a coaching or trauma-aware coaching, something like that, or mentorship where, trauma leads you into losing your sense of self, losing the connection with your dreams. But the overall goal is get connected with it. And then once you get connected with it, you need to have the strength to hold it. And that's how the healing will be completed. So now I am following my healing and following my experiment. I also knew that I cannot do it in a conventional way. I tried it. It didn't work. 2 years ago, I tried to sit myself down and be like, you are a writer inside, must write. And I would sit by the table and had no idea how to start. But every time I would go, let's say, grocery shopping or hiking, then all the ideas would start coming up. And that's how all this started. I don't like audio. Like, I'm a very visual person, so I started recording all the videos so then I can look at them and see what information I am connecting to intuitively, so then I can write also to my future book. So basically, what you're looking at right now is an experiment and my connection to my authentic self and the connection to the way how I want to do it. And I only actually understood that months later after I started. I was mad with myself for not pursuing that because I worked with the mentor. I was mad at myself for not pursuing the writing as I wanted to. It was my New Year's resolution to do it this year. And I didn't. But I was like listening to my body, and it was leading me into doing what I do now. And only months, like a year later almost, I'm like, oh, I got it now. And this is how you not only connect to your authentic self, not only pursue your dreams, not only like develop this new identity and emerge those lost parts of yourself, you also get this like practical sense of, let's say, trying a new career, trying find like a new talent or hobby, this is what I love. It's like a practical spirituality where you actually use this thing. Not just in theories, we know about all the teaching, the Freud and the Jung, and I don't know if I pronounced it correctly because it's in a different language, but I'll write it down somewhere over here. So this year in this experiment of that lasted a few months really changed my life, and I felt like that person that I tried to become. I felt like I'm faking it because while I was feeling it, I felt afraid. I felt that sometimes I felt that there's no way I can do it. But I was so determined to finally connect to that and finally do it. And this was one of the reasons why I never kept these videos for myself, but I actually posted them so other people can see that growing a new identity can be hard. It could feel like you are doing something wrong, feels scary, and instead of showing you like the finished result and how a lot of people are getting stuck in the perfectionism of trying to like look great, but I just wanted to, I did it for myself. That's why, if I were to, if I knew what it's going to lead into with my perfectionism as well, I would probably buy like a different camera. I would not film it on my phone. I would make it perfect. I would probably buy a drone or something. But I only did it for myself. I never meant this videos for anybody to see. And I decided to post them just so you can see that there is a way, and it's different. It's more spiritual, not only into discovering who you really are, not only like connecting to the lost parts of yourself, but also it's a way to heal both physically and emotionally. Because I believe, I don't know how to talk about it in a very scientific way, rather than in like just spiritual, like in spiritual aspects, but from the way how I feel it, there is like an energy within me. Like, let's say if I want something, I feel how this energy like builds up. And this energy prepares me to do some certain action. So if I, let's say, want to write a book, I get all the inspiration and all the desire, and it feels like has this energy to it, almost like an electric charge that pulls me into actually doing things. I also believe it can be hormonal, because when we think about it, like think about the lemon right now. Really take a second. Think about lemon. It's yellow. It's sour. You start. It's going to turn not only from thoughts into actually of you developing the saliva into, because you feel like it's here. That's how it works. Like we have the intention, we have something we want, and then we create and get all this energy surge into achieving it. But what trauma does, actually, it creates these blocks because you want something and then you stop yourself from doing it. But the energy never goes anywhere and it gets stuck in your body. And that's how you develop disease. It's how you develop, you can put on the weight or you can get unhealthy. I know how it is. I shared it even on my website, I think, the story of how I healed myself physically from so many things. And I even feel that I became so much more healthier once I started this experiment, once I let myself be how I am, and once I stopped controlling of how things should be, how things should sound, I would just let it out like this. Same like how I never make scripts for the videos and I just let myself talk how it goes. And from my review and from some other reviews of the people that know me, they share that I look so much younger. I look younger and I feel lighter, like as like the personality that I used to be once, like it's back. And people get sense that I feel more like alive and happier. And that's how I feel in my body. I'm not faking it. It's like I felt how I'm losing weight and unnecessary weight. The way that I had no idea how it was developed. I've never changed the diet and trying to stay like in a good diet, and I don't want to go into telling specifically what I do because I don't want people to repeat after me. I believe that we are very unique, and we are very it should, like, our lives, they have to be customized. We have to customize everything about our lives. I just got that shit. I don't know why. So it's like I've been here. I did that already. Maybe in my dreams. But yeah, try the experiment. You can, of course, go into a bigger experiment, like, for example, how I did it, but it will only bring you benefits if you start and you do it for just a few days. And hopefully I can be your guide into it, because I really feel that I should do it. Like, before it was through the mind, and now I really feel that I can really make it like very interesting for people to follow, because it has to be. I believe that art and play are the best, best therapies there is. Talking about your traumas, great, that may help, but in the long run, art, what I just said, and that thing that I just said, they're the best. So that is what I wanted to share today about how Hawaii lifestyle and wisdom how it was created originally. That it's actually my way of creating something new, my way of writing, because my body is very active. I have to be on the move all the time, and I noticed that when I try to force myself to do things in the conventional way, didn't work. I spent 2 years just being upset with myself. Now I found a new way, brand new way how I do it myself. And also, I've connected to these like lost parts of myself, and I realized that authentic self, it doesn't mean to be a different person altogether. It means that there are lost parts of yourself. Maybe they are related to a certain career, to a certain traits, but there is a way to get them back into your life through the play. That's the word. Through the play, through the art. And this is the last episode, which also is an intro to these episodes that I filmed and the upcoming challenge that I'm going to do. Intuition has no time. I feel like it never has this logical sense of the start, the middle, the end. It's like this chaotic connection to random elements of what is going to happen. And I myself serve as the truth that it will always lead you. It always have this like best intention for you, but sometimes it can be very confusing for the mind, just because you can, and especially if you start this journey of connecting to your authentic self, to your wholesomeness, to how I did it in the Hawaii Lifestyle and Wisdom with Place series. It can be strange, I have to admit. You can be like, why am I feeling things? Why am I talking about these things? Why am I having this desire to post it? Why am I not doing all the things that I wanted? There were so many whys in this last year, but now it does make sense. How they say, and I believe that spirituality, religion, and just good old living, just like how people like to say, like, based on the logic and the mind and the brain, it's so interconnected and it has the same base. But what they say is that trust the process, trust the God, and all of that. And same here, like with intuition, I believe that it all has the same center, the information that sometimes we don't know what we're doing but there is a bigger picture that we don't see. And when we follow it, when we follow our intuition, when we follow our body, and we follow our desires, can lead you into discovering and exploring yourself and discovering new things in life, in the world, about yourself. And that's how your life becomes wholesome. That's how it just becoming really, really great. um, yeah, but I guess now that I've said it out loud, um, I must do it. But it's not that I must, I also want to. But let's see how it goes through. Because with me, it has to be approved. It has to come through the intuition. Has to come through my inner God, I would say. This and it has specific timing too. So we'll see. But I want to already, now that I'm sharing about this episode, I want to invite you into this challenge. And if you're interested, you can already reach out to me right now. Maybe you can give me some recommendations, because as I'm telling you right now, all of it is new. Not pretending to be a professional. All that I do in last month is just playing a game of following my intuition, of following these impulses inside of me. Makes me, makes me more authentic. But sometimes I have no idea what the hell am I doing. But I know that in the end, it's going to be great and it's going to happen. So thank you so much for watching, and I will talk more, of course, on the topics of living your purpose, being your authentic self, having this ultimate feeling of direction in life, how it can positively affect your mindset, your emotional health, and physical health. I like to share personal stories, and I like to back it up by all the knowledge that I receive in psychology or spirituality, or just the wisdom that I feel connected to. So follow along, and I invite you to stay in my world, observe this journey, and I guess I will see you in my world. And the information you need to have, the Instagram, all the links and all the invitations can always find in the information in my channel, or go hop on the link, and in the Instagram there are more outline directions of all the links and websites and all of that. So thank you so much for joining. I hope you have this motivation now to watch the Hawaii lifestyle and the wisdom of the place, with the intention of a new intention and understanding what it is all about. And I promise you that you will hear a lot. There are a lot of riffing on the topics, and it's my personal experience of moving from my survival self into my wholesome, authentic self. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you there. Or should I just say aloha?